Hi, and welcome to the morning meeting. I'm your host, Julio Briones. In today's video, we're asking the question, who is your client? Before we get started, I want to thank you all for coming back and watching. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and then a little notification bell so you can get informed whenever we put out new content. Also, if there's anything going on, any specials, courses, or anything like that with the Briones Consulting Group, the information will be in the comments section below. So let's move on. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any topic you want us to cover, leave that in the comments section below. So I started the video by asking, who's your client? So before we move on to answer that, leave below. Let us know who do you think your clients are, and watch the video to the end, and let's see if we're all talking about the same group of people. All right, so that should be enough time for you to go ahead and fill that in. So what if I told you that the answer to who is your client is not as simple as the most common answer that I get every time I ask this? Without fail, I ask the same question when I start working with a new home care agency. I come in and I start working with them, with their marketing team, with their business developers, and I'll ask, who is your client? And I always get the same answer. Anyone with the money to pay us, the elderly, any older person with the money. We'll take anybody. And no, that's not the right answer. As great answer, and I do see where people are coming with this, but you got to understand, we actually in this industry have 3 separate and distinct clients who all have individual concerns and who all perceive the value you provide very differently. Let's begin. Client number 1 is your referral source, your people in your in-group. It's really, I mean, that's your first go-to when you're starting out, especially if you're a new business, and especially in today's age, because at the time of this recording, we're still in the thick of the COVID-19 pandemic. If you've just recently opened a home care agency in the last year and you're focusing on private pay, that in-group, those referral partners, they are your number 1 client right now. You have to understand who they are, what their concerns are, and how you're going to fix the problems to bring value to them so that they can get you in touch with the people that are going to actually pay you. So what is the issues with the referrals? So what do we need to know? We need to understand that, 1, they don't want to deal with you. In many cases, you can't even get your foot in the door because of the lockdown going on right now and everything that we're dealing with the pandemic. You got to figure out how you're going to deal with them. So let's understand what their concerns are. Number 1, they get seen or contacted by a lot of people. Okay, so if you can't make them see a clear benefit to working with you, you're not going to work with them. The next thing is that you have to understand that they're there to provide value for their own clients. All right. You are asking these people to put their name, their reputation on the line, and possibly in some cases, their jobs, to recommend you to people that desperately need your services. Why would I go with someone new? What makes you different? What makes you special? And why should that referral partner work with you? Why should anyone in your in-group work with you? Ask yourself. So you have to understand and make them understand, and using a variety of different techniques that we'll talk about in different things, but you have to understand that that is what you have to show them. You have to show them that there is value, not price. Please do not mistake value with price. All right, you have to understand, make them understand that there is value. You are not always going to be the cheapest. You're not always going to be the most expensive. You might be the most expensive and they'll still feel comfortable giving out your information because you have shown them that there is value in working with you. How quickly do you respond to the clients? How quickly do you put out fires, so to speak? Remember, they're counting on you to help their reputation. So what are you doing? How are you serving that client? Not the client, the end user, but how are you serving that referral partner, that building, that facility, that attorney, whoever they are? How are you serving them? How are you bringing them a value that they're comfortable bringing value and clients to you? Are you able to communicate clearly what your services are? Do your services fit their own client base? Are you providing referrals as often as you are giving them? The general ratio for working with facilities, it's like 10 to 1. All right. If I give you one client, you give a facility, a referral partner, one client, they'll return that on average anywhere from 8 to 12, with a median being a 10. They're happy. You're putting their name out there in a good light, and they're going to want to do the same for you. All right. If a problem happens and somebody contacts the facility or the referral partner, or if you have a client you're taking care of inside that facility and a problem happens with one of your caregivers, what's your response like? Everybody knows this is a difficult industry to manage. Okay. Not impossible, but it can get difficult. And you are relying on human capital for your workforce. So it's not that anyone ever expects for you to not have problems. What they do expect is prompt response, that you make it right, that you take responsibility for the company's actions, not that you are taking accountability for the answer for the actions of your caregiver, but you are taking responsibility. Okay. And in turn, that helps them look better. That's client number one. Client number two are family members who have aging parents or aging loved ones. Their concerns are, sometimes they live far away. How do they maintain that balance between their own personal life and their own families? Because many of them are in that sandwich generation. How do they, and taking care of their parents? How do you stop from burning out? How do you deal with a parent who's resistant to care? I mean, look, there's a whole lot of issues that the family needs to know. And once again, what value are you providing? How well trained is your staff? How much do you dedicate to developing your caregivers? How much do you dedicate to that retention, which making them feel belong, making them feel part of the family, making sure that there's personal and professional development for your caregivers, making sure that your caregivers understand clearly what's going on, and how do you translate all of this to the family? And once again, the family and the referral source, they have very similar points of view on value. They don't need your service, but they have someone who desperately does. And they want the best. Now, with the family, it's a little bit different than it is with the referral partner, because more times than not, if you can show that you're not just talking when you say, we go above and beyond. And again, I've talked about this in a lot of videos. I hate that phrase because most people say that they go above and beyond without ever actually demonstrating how they do. They say they provide value without understanding how, or without legitimately providing value, and they're just doing what everybody else does. All right, so being able to communicate this is very important. And if you can get the family to understand that the value you provide is there, it's legitimately there, that you legitimately do go above and beyond, that you can give them what they need, they'll find the money. That your price will become completely irrelevant at that point. And that's client number two. Client number three is the end user. They need to feel safe. They need to feel that their family is not going to worry. They need to feel independent. They need to feel that they are still valuable, that they are not just being thrown away. They're not just being, you know, chucked, that there's going to be coverage, that there's going to, that, that the caregiver is communicating clearly with them, that they have a good support system from your office. These are all the concerns that you need to have the client understand. Now, some people will sign up with you, okay? They will seek you out and they'll sign up with you just very randomly because, again, we are dealing with, the pandemic right now. People are scared. So what are you doing? What are you doing to prepare your caregivers? Again, this is all comes down to them and how you service the client. So what are you doing to make sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feels protected, that everybody feels like they belong? It How are you demonstrating value? Because once you have figured out value and verbalization of this value, I'm actually going to link a video up here somewhere, I think, where I actually go into communicating your ideas. How do you identify these problems? You know, how do you identify the problems? How do you define these solutions and explain to the people why you're the best person? Where do you justify all of this? How do you create that call to action that makes people sign up with you? And again, people will do this just by random Google searches or random searches online in different platforms, and they will find you. But if you want to maintain that client base, it's not as simple as saying I go above and beyond or I provide the best care. How? How is It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to fulfill on that promise. Don't let yourself get caught up. And if you ever do call us for services or training, keep in mind, I'm gonna ask you who your three clients are or who is your client. And please understand, it's not one, it's three. You have to worry about that referral partner, you have to worry about the family, and you have to worry about the end user themselves. And once you understand how uniquely different they are, what their concerns are, and how do you present value to each of them individually, you will see your business grow, your agency will find success, and you will be able to achieve that $1 to $3 million mark that we're all going after. Thanks for watching. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay informed whenever we put out new content. And once again, whatever is going on with the company, whatever offers we have, you'll find the information in the description box below. Thank you for watching. This has been your 10-minute home care training.